Dane's career sales are over $51 million of Cutco sold. Last year in 2020 had his best year ever as a division in office, and already in 2021, up 23% is North Star over last year. Dane lives in Wisconsin with his wife, Brooklyn, and two little girls, Elin and Izzy. Dane is one of the best our business has ever seen. He's an awesome father to those girls, and it's just so much fun to be around. Those of you in the North Star division know this to be true. So to kick us off, I give you Mr. Dane Espegard, North Star division manager.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate the fantastic words. Hey, welcome, everyone. Welcome to the rep event here today and tomorrow. So I've got a few things I'd like to share with you, and then I'm also going to ask you to share with the group here as we get started. So let me first say congratulations on making the decision to be here. These events they can be really pivotal to how you perform with our business and how you advance with our business. And the reason I say that they can is it really makes a difference in how you show up to these types of things. And that's kind of how I want to start off, with our time here together, is a couple of things on how to get the most out of the event, right? So if you'd oblige me and jot down a couple of these things, the first thing I would like you to jot down is beginner's mindset. And, I don't know all of you obviously personally. And some of you are showing up today at maybe 20K, 30K, 40K in sales. There might be some people on here that haven't even hit their first promotion of 1,000 yet. But regardless of where you're at, anytime that you show up to any event where there's going to be information that's given out by individuals, it's always going to serve you best to be in a beginner's mindset, right? And the longer that you are experienced in an area, that becomes a little bit more difficult. And this is something that I do every time that I join a meeting or attend a seminar. I'm a part of a group called Front Row Dads, and so I get to go to some online meetings and some in-person meetings, and the topic for all of those is how to be a better father and husband. And I show up to those, even though I feel like I do well in those areas. I always have to remind myself as I go is that there's something here that's meant for me to learn, right? And when I show up that way, I'm a better receiver of information. And sometimes when we don't show up intentionally, making the decision to say, I'm here to learn, I'm a beginner, sometimes our ego gets in the way, right? And it's sometimes easy to say, I already know this, or I might do that better, or instead of just receiving all of the information that's there. So beginner's mindset should come be the theme for you today and tomorrow. That'd be my suggestion as somebody who's gone to hundreds of events like these. The second thing to jot down is just engagement. And when I say engagement can mean different things to different people. What I would recommend at this event, something like this, is just like any other Zoom meeting. We spend so much of our day on Zoom. We should be good at self-policing. What do I mean by that? When you're zeroed in on something. You also know when you allow yourself to get distracted, right? You've all been on a Zoom meeting or a Zoom class or something with other windows open on your computer and this and that, right? For this event, I would really encourage you to try and make this thing full screen, right? Flip your phone over, put your phone somewhere that you literally stand up to have to get it so that you're not tempted. These are just little things that I think that for me make things a lot easier to get the most out of an event. Set your computer on do not disturb so the texts don't come in, right? And you don't get updates that way. Like little things like that, and then utilize the breaks. When we're on break, check your phone, right? Stand up, walk around, stretch so that you're re-energized and ready to go. The third thing I'd like you to jot down is positive expectations. So, again, how we receive information is going to be determined by what we expect and believe we can do with it. So if I show up to something saying there's stuff for me to learn here, and what's really exciting is when I learn this, my results the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks are going to be much improved. And so it's expecting, it's knowing, it's not hope, it's not positive hope, it's expectations. Positive expectations are, I know I'm going to perform better leaving this event. And then what that causes you to do as a recipient of information is to be looking for the thing, right? And what I find is in an event like this, it can be one thing. If you got one thing that was massively impactful to you, whether it was your personal life or it was how to sell more Cutco or get more recommendations, I think you'd probably say that was worth it. Right? I think you'd probably say that was worth my time. The last thing to get the most out of the event is to, at the very end of the event, today, tomorrow, share a goal with your manager. Because when we do that, it provides a little bit of accountability. Accountability is a really important thing in our lives and can lead to success in every single area of our lives. But accountability really rests on the shoulders of the person, right? Of the individual. If you want to improve in an area, you have to allow yourself to be held accountable, right? This is one of the things that I think my wife and I do really well in our relationship is that we lean on each other. If I want to do something, who's going to hold me accountable, right? Like I need somebody to hold me accountable. And so for me in my life, that's my wife. She doesn't do it in a dictator way, right? Of you have to do this or you're grounded type of deal. But I'll share with her, these are the things that I want to do. Can you hold me accountable to that? And accountability starts with you sharing what your outcome is and the actions that need to happen, and then allowing somebody the privilege to coach you. So, I think for me, many years, I didn't utilize my manager and coach the right way. And what I mean by that was inviting the accountability and saying, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I think I need to do. Can you hold me accountable to that? And because when it's an invite, your manager is much more willing and excited to hold you accountable because they know that's what you want. That's the way for you to get the best results in anything. So those are the things I think if you do those and you focus on those things here throughout the event today and tomorrow, that you'll have a really positive experience. It'll be worth your time. You'll look back and say, that was great. I'm really glad I made the decision to attend. Even if it was, I'm really glad I allowed my manager to twist my arm to be here today, right? For some of you, that might be the situation. Okay, let's talk about what some of the next steps can be for you. And this is, I'm not in opening comments here, I'm not going to talk to you about how to sell more Cutco or what to do differently on the close or get more recommendations. Like there are phenomenal speakers that are selling a lot of Cutco. They're going to teach you that stuff today. Okay. So what I do want to make sure is on your radar is helping you be able to connect the activity that you do today, tomorrow, this next week, the next couple of weeks with the possibility of what's available in the future. One of the things that I think is best about Vector is that we give people the opportunity before they may feel like they deserve it. Think about the way we train Cutco reps, right? You guys all went through training. We train you for 3 days and we say, get out there, get after it. And you're like, wait, I haven't even done one. And we're like, yep, you're gonna learn as you go. And that is the theme of Vector through all the way through the entire organization. And some people might say, that's not a good thing. I think that's a great thing. And the reason is we give people the opportunity to fail. And I'm choosing my words intently here. We give people the opportunity to fail. So we don't put the training wheels on, right? We want people to go out, get bumps and bruises, because that's how we learn, right? One of the things I talk about in my division is celebrating the mistakes. And the reason that we celebrate mistakes is so that you remember it. What a lot of times people want to do is kind of like, get rid of the mistakes. Let's not focus on that. It's like, no, let's focus on the mistake so that you remember it, so that you learn from it, not do it again. This leads me to talk to you about advancement. One of the amazing things about Vector is that as a leadership team grows, so does our leverage to influence. So we're able to make a bigger difference. We're able to have more representatives work on our team and learn the skills that you all are learning as well. And we also sell more Cutco. So the larger the management team, right, of individuals that are really committed, that are sharing similar values in terms of, how they want to run the business, like that, the team, that leadership team really has a massive ripple effect. And so I want you to at least ask yourself, hey, have you considered what it would look like for you to be in a leadership position in your office? Some of you are, right? Some of you might be assistant managers already, or your manager has talked to you. I see Sean on here from Minneapolis. Sean's going to be getting a promotion into our management team here in the next couple of, in the short next couple of weeks. And so if you haven't, and the reason that a lot of people don't is because what's happening, you're like, I'm still trying to figure out how to make calls and stay motivated and book demos. And, aren't we kind of putting the cart before the horse here? Right? This would be similar to somebody being like, hey, have you thought about your wedding on the second date? And you're like, slow down there. You pump the brakes a little bit. Right? And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to you about the next steps before you maybe even had your first $1,000 week or $2,000 week. And I think that is absolutely okay. And that's what makes Vector unique. So let me talk to you about what it looks like to be an assistant manager very briefly. And the reason that this is a brief conversation is because the longer conversation needs to be with your specific manager. But here's what an assistant manager does, and here's what they get. An assistant manager, they're typically going to help within a few key areas. Number one is the team size, the size of the team, right? We call that team building. Each office within Vector has a goal of how many representatives they like to work with over the course of the summer. So that's one. So a lot of the tasks that an assistant manager does have to do with that, right? Whether it means learning how to run really great professional interviews, learning how to do some of the recruiting, some of the outreach, some of the messaging, right? Some of the stuff that we do that way. The second area that an assistant manager helps with is the rep experience. Every office has an objective to make sure that their sales representative experience is top notch. So one of the ways that we gauge that is through what's called PPR, productivity. And we really want to make sure that that's growing, that our representatives are having success. And the way that an assistant manager assists with that is through coaching, right? Through coaching, through one-on-one, individual FaceTime calls, 2-minute calls here, just like your managers helped you, right? And so the larger the staff is, the more representatives can be worked with on a team. Because the last thing that we want is for somebody to slip through the cracks, not get the help they need, right? Have an issue and not have that, the attention of the manager. And so the coaching aspect, right, makes a really big difference to somebody's experience here. And then the third thing is the culture of the organization. And so as an assistant manager, you get to help with building and maintaining the culture within an organization. These are fantastic skills. So what do you get from this? You get an amazing resume on paper, but also in reality of things that you get to do that typically would require a lot more experience before you get the opportunity to do them. Right? So we talk about Cutco being a phenomenal stepping stone. And this is the reason, is because we give people this opportunity, this responsibility prior to when most businesses would. And so when somebody spends a summer with us in management, they get the opportunity to, again, on their resume and in reality, they get to help build culture, be intentional about that. They get to learn coaching, emotional intelligence. Right? And then on top of that, they get to learn how to build a really great team of qualified individuals. Those are going to be traits that any organization in any industry would be excited about having. And that's what we have for our management opportunity. So what I would recommend to you is, as you're listening to information and that you're listening to messages here today and tomorrow, I want you to also hear from a perspective of, hey, if I were giving this message at my next meeting to my team, and that allows you to kind of, grab on to the one-liners that could really make a difference in your appointment, right? Or to shorten things into an easy 3 steps to implement type of thing. But you may not know what your long-term vision is here with us. And you might even say, I'm not here long-term. Well, hey, even if you are here short-term, I'd still entertain the idea of what a management leadership position looks like. Right? They get paid based on their personal sales as well as from the office. And what I found for me, this doesn't mean that it's for everybody, but for me personally, I actually sold more when I was an assistant manager because there was a little bit of internal pressure that I felt for myself, not from anybody else, that if I was leading other people, I should also probably be performing well. Right? And that was a good pressure. And I think it would be similar, and I can't speak firsthand on this, but if you were a personal trainer, I would assume it'd be a little easier for you to get yourself to work out, right? Because you're like, well, I should probably be working out if I'm teaching other people, right, about their fitness. And so that's how I felt as an assistant manager, and it helped me to stay consistent with my sales, right? So that's the assistant manager position. The other positions that are available, branch manager position, district manager position, that has to do with running an office, running an organization. And what I find to be true in this is that as people get promoted into the assistant manager position, they get a little taste test of what that would be, what it would look like. And our branch and district manager position is more exciting than it has ever been. Vector is more exciting than it has ever been. We are selling more Cutco than we have ever sold in the history of a 70-year-old company. Now, I'm excited about this because I've been here for so long, almost 2 decades. So that means something because my perspective is a lot longer. Right? To be able to say, these are exciting months. Every week that goes by, it's wild to be able to look at how much Cutco is being sold corporately. And again, all politics are local, so that might not mean anything to you. If you had a bad sales week, you don't really care about, well, we're breaking records all over the place. But my point in saying that is there's a reason behind this. And the management opportunity right now is really, really exciting. When people think about advancement opportunities with Vector, I know that there is a certain element of uncertainty that comes along with that. What does that mean? Well, how much am I going to get paid? Well, I don't know. It's based on what the office does. So is there some risk in that? Anytime people hear uncertainty, they associate that with risk. One of the things that I want to encourage you to do is to understand what your belief around the word risk is. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday that worked in Cutco, worked with us in our division in 2019. And this individual sold a lot of Cutco. He did really well. And he was a college student in the Minnesota area. And this individual sold over $40,000 of Cutco in a very short period of time. And so, made some really good income. And then we approached this individual about getting into Leadership Academy. And we said, hey, you've been very impressive. We would love for you to continue with us in a leadership capacity of any sort that you would like, whether it means selling Cutco professionally, getting into our events team, which that is something that all of you are able to do, selling to real estate agents, or getting into management, running an office. And he said, I really want to get an internship this next summer, so I don't think I'm going to stay with Cutco. Right. So we pursued him a little bit more, but he wanted to move on. So he moved on. Well, we just got back into contact with him because he is 1 year out of college and he is extremely unhappy with his current situation. And he took a normal path. And what was the normal path? He went to this isn't normal for everybody. He went to a really expensive private university and got loaded up with a ton of debt. And then he got a safe job that has a secure paycheck. He's making $42,000 a year. And what makes him really nervous is he's looking at his $42,000 a year take-home pay, and he's looking at his student loans, and he's comparing them, and he's saying, how are the economics of this going to work out? And he's living at mom and dad's house. And that's not what he envisioned for himself a couple of years ago. So when we spoke, I said, what do you want? And he said, I want to be selling medical devices or pharmaceuticals. That'd be my dream job. I said, great. Well, what have you done to speak to people in that area? He's like, I haven't done a lot. And I said, okay, well, hey, would it be helpful if I sent some three-way introductions to 3 individuals that are in that field? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I said, great. I can definitely do that. And I said, why we were talking, it was about him potentially returning to Cutco. And I said, look, if you're able to just streamline that without us, fantastic. I'd love to connect the dots for you to be able to have that happen. I said, but I also think that there's a scenario where you spend some time with our company earning and saving before you move on to that next step. And I said, but I know why you chose the other business, which was the secure paycheck. Security is limited. Risk is unlimited. You are here, by the way, with an uncertain paycheck. Would you guys agree with that? How much are you going to get paid next week? I don't know. How much am I going to get paid next week? I don't know. And what I can tell you is it is great to be in a situation that has uncertainty around the paycheck, because where I derive my certainty from is my self-confidence. So if I know that I'm going to follow through on the things I need to do, my check might vary, but it's still going to be good. Does everybody follow that? So whenever somebody says, well, there needs to be guaranteed pay, I'm guaranteed. I know that I will show up. I know that I will learn. I know that I'll continue to evolve, and I'll work hard. And if I do that, yeah, my check may vary, but it's probably going to be pretty exciting. And I can tell you personally, for me, that's what keeps me going, is the opportunity of the unknown, of, hey, there's no ceiling. I love it at Vector when people go out and get their first $1,000 paycheck. You may have not had that happen yet. That'd be my challenge to you. Go out and have a comma paycheck. It feels great. And what it does is it wrecks you a little bit. Do you know what I mean by that? It wrecks you. Like a $300 paycheck is no longer ever the same. In a good way. Because you know that you're worth more, and you know that you're in charge. And so I want to encourage you to look at it that way and embrace that opportunity to be in an uncertain situation, because you are where the certainty should come from. When I look around in any organization or anything that I'm trying to do, if I see other people succeeding in that, I have to have a certain level of confidence to say, yeah, if there's other people succeeding, there's no reason that I can't. Let me just go find out what they're doing. And if I do that, I apply a lot of hard work to it, I'm going to figure it out. Guys, you're all selling Cutco. We work with tens of thousands of people a year that all successfully sell Cutco. Like, there is a proven roadmap of how to get it done. So I want to encourage you to be open and engaging with your manager about what next steps are there. You know, one of the quotes that I use all the time is, when there's hope in the future, there's power in the present. And if I know I'm working towards something, a promotion, hey, let me get to this benchmark. Let me give you a few benchmarks, okay? Go ahead and write down $15,000 in sales. $15,000 in sales, and you would qualify to become service call certified. Service call certified means that you're certified to be able to go into people's homes and sharpen their knives for free for the customer, honoring our guarantee, with the opportunity to be in front of somebody who owns and loves their Cutco at peak state, because somebody is servicing their knives for free. Often they buy more Cutco. So it's a great opportunity for a existing Cutco rep to add a layer to their business. So you all are welcome to join that and to become service call certified when you hit $15,000 in sales. So talk to your manager about what the step would be, but have that as a benchmark. $20,000 in sales can get you into the fair and show, the events team within your division. Then you get to go to events and sell Cutco at a booth if you want. But I can tell you, it's pretty exciting. Right now, as we are here right now, there's the Des Moines Home and Garden Show going on. By the way, these events got wiped from the face of the earth last year during COVID. We're all aware of that, right? So that wasn't a great time to be in the events program, but they're starting to come back right now. And right now is the Des Moines Home and Garden Show. That's awesome. So there's hundreds of people, maybe thousands, I don't know, that are walking around a convention center looking at different products, and then they come by our Cutco table. We have 2 of them. And there's some great Cutco sales reps there that say, hey, how are you? Have you ever heard of Cutco? And then a lot of the customers are like, you guys are here? Yeah, we've had our Cutco for 12 years. We love it. And then they're like, hey, would you like to buy some more? And they sell more. So I'm on the group thread with the individuals that are selling Cutco right now at the Home and Garden Show. And I can tell you, it's an exciting group thread. Let me just read you one highlight. Here we go. Somebody by 12 today, 12:05, said, Kelly Kinzer, started the day with a signature with steak knives, and then I sold an ultimate with table knives. Friday, be poppin' with a fire emoji. It's not my language. I'm just reading it verbatim. Right? That's a pretty great day. Anybody like to sell $4,000 before, I was about to say before noon, but I was at 12:05. And you can quote me on that. Friday, be poppin' with no G. And then somebody else said, I just sold 50 lockbacks, the lockback pocket knives. 50? That's probably a good order. Somebody else said 2 galley sets so far today, and then did this little emoji. And then somebody did the Will Ferrell gif of him like punching cereal boxes. All right. So the point is, fairs and shows, $20,000. That's what you can get trained for your division. Talk to your manager about that. But what's great is being educated on these programs, having benchmarks to say, here's my motivation to get to 15K, to get trained on this, add an extra layer to my business. And then 20K gets me this, and so forth and so on. And when the mind is engaged, we're more productive, right? When I'm working towards something, when I'm learning a new skill, and there's so much opportunity of that here at Cutco. Hey, we're on the doorstep of the most exciting time in Vector of the calendar year, which is the summer. We saw more Cutco in campaign 2 in the summer than any other of the 3, right? There's 3 campaigns, any other time of the year. Our teams get large. The sales reports get huge. So we need more managers, but more importantly than that, it is a fun time to be around. The competition is better. Your team meetings are more vibrant. These conferences, there's hundreds of individuals that are on. We have sales competitions all the time. It's a blast. Champs Club, be popping. I'm gonna be using that all the time. My wife's gonna be like, what happened to you today? And so we're right on the doorstep of campaign 2. I'm excited about it. Hopefully you're excited about what's gonna happen to your team as well. All right, let me share with you a little bit about the agenda real quick. So we've got a great lineup of speakers. Hopefully you've already seen the agenda, but I'm just going to share really briefly what you can expect. What I want you to do as I read through this is I want you to be jotting down the things that you're most excited to hear, because the question I'm about to ask you after this is, what do you need most out of this event? And that's what I'm going to ask you to share in the chat. So let me do this first. Let me read through the agenda. So you're going to next hear from Vernon B. Williams, the fifth. It just makes him sound like he's more of an authority figure when he's the fifth. He's going to talk to you about selling ultimates and signature sets. Then you're going to hear from District Manager Michael King on managing your schedule. You're going to hear from Gabby Morales, a branch manager champion, on phoning like a champion. Then you're going to hear from Colleen Dolan, former pilot sales manager of the Minneapolis office, on selling gifts and accessories. So how to get better at selling 50 lockbacks per se. Then at the end of today, the last 45 minutes from 5:15 to 6 o'clock is going to be roundtables. Roundtables, I really want to encourage you to engage in those. What roundtables are, it's where you get to go into a breakout room and you get to just ask questions, things that really matter to you, right? No question is too remedial, right? I really want to encourage you to ask everything, because sometimes that's where you get the value at these types of events, is getting the specific thing that you need an answer on. Tomorrow we go from 10 to noon. You're going to hear from Danny Lewis to start off tomorrow, the division manager of Lakeshore. You're going to hear a message on closing throughout your demo from Carlos Shoemaker, district manager. You're going to hear a talk from Curtis Haugen on the like list. The like list is, how do you take somebody who's not interested in a set, group a whole bunch of things together to still end with a very large order at a great deal for your customer. Then you're going to hear from Ainsley Allen on preparing to be an All-American. What that means is, how do you have a wildly successful summer? And then you're going to hear a wrap up from Kyle Smith, world's best SPM. So what I'd like you to do in the chat is jot down what's the one thing you need from this event, right? If you got to pick the main thing that you need, that you think would move your business the most. And it could be something like, again, selling ultimates or signatures, or it could be just confidence around recommendations. It could be confidence. It could be motivation, right? But go ahead and share something in the chat right now. Is the chat open, Kyle? There we go. Perfect. This is great. Closing more often. So closing more often would be like, you're looking for nuggets on how to increase your sales ratio. Gifts, another great one. Time management, like list. So I'm asking you to do this because I'm asking you to put it out there, because if you're really aware of it, you're going to get that at this event, right? And if you feel like you haven't gotten it by the time that roundtables come around, perfect. That's your opportunity to go and make sure that this event is totally worth it. Hey, thanks for you guys' attention as we kick things off here. Have a phenomenal event. I'm going to pass things back to Mr. Kyle Smith.
Awesome.
Take lots of notes.
Give Dane, a round of applause, or snaps, or jazz hands if you want, whatever you guys like, and show him the love. So thank you, Dane, for kicking us off. Really appreciate it. And Dane's right. We really do have a phenomenal event planned for you. But the most important thing is that you get what you're wanting out of this event. And so if you haven't yet put, hey, this is the thing that I need most, in the chat, I really want to, again, reiterate that fact. Please do that for your benefit, so that you, again, put that out there and focus on getting that out of the event.